Page 20, Old Little Town of Bethlehem. This is a fun arrangement. It's a little tricky though, because the left hand is playing on the off beats most of the time. Well, let's look it over. 4/4 time, 1 sharp in the key signature. We're in the key of G major. Make sure you can do the scale for G major, and while you're at it, go ahead and do the scale for E minor, because it also has 1 sharp in the key signature. Just do them both. At least 1 octave up and down. Let's take this one hand at a time. Make sure we got the fingering down, and this gets a little tricky. Right hand at the beginning, you're here. And you're not staying here, because really the thumb is here, and then we're coming here. So it's 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and. See, we already changed fingering. Now they want you to do it again. I don't care for that. I don't want to use second finger like that. So I'm going to suggest that for the second measure, use third finger. It's there, and just reach up with the little finger. Here, so you can start with third finger if you want to, make them all the same. Because I want to connect them. I want to connect everything as best I can at first. This makes me find a fingering that works, because I have found, well, I didn't find it, I was taught it in college. Use a fingering that works connected, and it will serve you well, regardless of what articulation they put in. So I'm going to connect everything. Here, there. Third finger. And then reach down. 1, 2, and then it's just quarter notes. More or less. Measure 8. You're going to take advantage of these repeated notes to change hand positions. Now we're going to go to 2. Reach down. And then now 2 notes. Now look out. This is going from measure 13 to 14. You're here to here. The thumb's going to do both, and the connect that. Here. Now you can go ahead and get away with moving your hand up here this time, because they're both black keys. So just lift the finger. You'll fit no matter how big your hands are. Because now you just got the F sharps by themselves. You can come back out here a little bit. And I suggest in measure 15 and 16. Here, measure 16, if you can, do a 2/5. Connect them. You don't need to use thumb on both of those. I find that awkward. In this fingering, you'll get a lot, and it will work well for you if you can get used to it. So here. Then you lift up and move. Again, it's repeated notes, so we just change fingers. Reach down, octave, stay stretched out because you need that. So, and then you're back to what you were doing at the beginning. And I'm going to, again, use third finger on this. And these last 2 measures I'll come back to later. Much later. Left hand. Well, once you get the idea of this rhythm, it's not just broken chords. You have a D in here, and then for the next one, it's a D and an E. So it's 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. I use 2 on the E flat. You can use thumb if you want. You're moving it down a little bit. That's connect them as best you can, though. And that's the rhythm. Just boom, 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 boom. Hopefully what you can do is figure that out on your own, and you don't wait until me or someone plays it for you. And then you say, oh, I get it. No, you get it on your own, and then check it. Let's go down to the bottom of the page, measure 10. It's here, 4. Then reach down. You may not be able to reach it, but you can reach a little ways so you don't have to move as far. And then measure 11 at the end of it. It's the last 2 beats is here, cross over the thumb here. It's like you were going to do this, except these are played at the same time. Okay, so measure 11 again is 1 and then I suggest you stay here and just do it a 4-2 here. They got you doing here and here. I see no reason for that. Just stay where you are. You got to move anyway for the next note. You got to come down. You just lift up and move down. There's no rest. So again, starting at measure 10. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 3. Rest. Through the rest you come up. 2. Rest. Fourth finger then, so we can connect. Again, we want to connect all the notes. And then we're back to this other rhythm we were doing. If you want, you can use 4 or 5, either one. And then this same thing, measure 19, we've had this before. I'm going to use the same fingering. Put the hands together. No. Again, when you first put the hands together, you're going to hesitate all over the place. That's fine. We're just trying to figure out which fingers are working together here. So at the beginning, it's here, and then here. Don't worry about what it sounds like. We'll get that later. Just. And the third finger now on the right hand. B is by itself, then measure 5 here. And you probably notice that you can see between the staves how the notes line up in the staves, so you can see these notes in the left hand are in between the notes in the right hand, so they're going to play in between them. Yeah. Now be careful on measure 6. We're here. See, the left hand's playing that E, well, the right hand needs it. So make sure the left hand's out of the way, because the right hand needs to connect the melody. And the left hand's just got to do the best it can. So you got to play it a little short. So you go through and put the hands together. We get to the bottom of page 21. It's about, let's say, measure 24. The last line, you're here. And these eighth notes, you see the stems going up, the right hand will do it. The stems going down, the left hand will do it. The LH means left hand, RH is right hand. So we're here. While you're playing that, just lift up and move. I want to connect the eighth notes. So you got to get off a little early so you can get down there. And you're going to play these, this is the G chord. While you're doing that, the right hand comes up to get this G chord. It's just a G chord. That's all. And then the right hand plays the last whole note. That is a B and a G. And you can figure that out on your own. You should know that 2 ledger lines above treble clef is a high, high C. Just memorize that's you get that note a lot. 2 ledger lines is a high C. This is 3, and that's 4 ledger. That's an E, so it's a here. What's in the key of G major, it makes sense it's going to end with an E. Okay. All right. And that is a G, octaves there at the bottom, because that is under the 3rd ledger line. You have to figure that out. 1 ledger line is an E, 2 is an A, 3 is C, 3 is an A, and then right under it is a G. It's a G chord. Then you go through it a few hundred times and you work out all the hesitations so it flows. You can go slow. It doesn't matter how fast you go at this point because you can speed it up later. What is important is that there are no hesitations anywhere. If you're hesitating someplace, work on that spot and get rid of the hesitation. Go over it a few times. And later on, when it comes back, and it will, you go over it again a few times. And you keep doing that. And eventually you'll get to where the hesitation goes away for good. Because hesitations, once you work them out, can still come back. It's a little frustrating sometimes. You just got to be persistent. Just keep at them. Make them go away. As far as articulation goes, they lift up. That's fine if you want to. The lift for the melody. Lift up. Lift up. Lift up. I don't know that you need to lift up there on measure 14. To me, I just play it. And you think, wait a minute, if you're reading the words, there's no comma there. Why are we lifting up? Why is it a new phrase? Why is the word "the" capitalized? And what I think they've done is they have an error in the words. There actually should be a semicolon or a period or something there, probably a period. So it's a new sentence. Although "the everlasting light" is not a sentence. Probably more like a comma, and then "the" doesn't need to be capitalized. I'm back to my editing thing again. So go ahead and lift up if you want. And then lift up. I play it really quickly because it's easier to hear the phrases. It's easier to hear the musical sentences when you go a little quicker. And that's what I'm after. Where do I lift up in the right hand for the phrasing? And for the most part, what they have here is fine. Just go with it. The left hand, I would connect it. They've got it. I disagree with that completely. Just connect the left hand. Just connect it all the way through, except for, of course, for the rest. Dynamics, that goes to the right hand here. Even at the beginning, the introduction, the right hand has it. Keep the left hand in the background. Whatever you think sort of soft is, sort of soft. Not soft, and the left hand is soft or very soft. Measure 4, to pick up to measure 5, you go up to sort of loud. Not loud, just sort of loud. The left hand's still soft. And you're staying in that area until you get to the pick up to measure 21. Well, I disagree with that. You're not going to stay at that area. You can stay in that. We need some contrast in here. So get to know it and feel it. And if you feel like getting a little louder and softer in places, go for it. You have to experiment with it because it's a feeling thing. I would play it differently every time I played it because I keep experimenting with the dynamics and things. So just, you're in the area of sort of loud, so you can go up and down. But then when you get to pick up to 21, measure 21, you're back down like you were at the beginning, sort of soft. And at the end, the polka reed, you slow down a little bit. Here. Now be careful on the last measure. You played this, you slowed down, and now you're going to play this. When you play this, I want to still hear that. Don't drown it out. So here, and don't play this louder so you can. This is sort of soft here, or even soft. This is very soft. How soft can you play that? Don't use the soft pedal, that's cheating. You gotta do it with the hands now. I'm just gently stroke it, very gentle. On an acoustic piano, the slower the keys go down, the softer it is. You can actually push them down so soft they won't even sound. But just make it very soft if you're at the end, because I still want to hear that. It could be like a little practice on that one. Now they've added pedal. Well, it'd be nice because it is kind of dry the way it is. The pedal will smooth things out and give us the overtones and blend the sounds together. We just have to be careful because it can get a little mushy. If I pedal it the way they're showing, this is what it sort of sounds like. Sort of, maybe a little. If that sounds okay to you, fine. For the most part, not too bad, but I'd still like to hear some of the phrasing, and I'd like to hear the rest in the left hand. So it's like on measure 4. I'm going to lift it up after I play that. I'm going to lift it up, and then I can play it. I can push the pedal down right after I play the 4th beat. And the only reason I'm doing that is because I want to connect it. Because the only way I can connect repeated notes is with the pedal. Otherwise, there'd be a little silence between them. But I'm lifting the pedal up on beat 3. And I don't need to change it on the measure then. I can leave it down. Same thing on measure 12 here at the bottom. I'm going to lift but I'm going to pedal it because it's a repeated note. So I'm going to push it down and leave it down. Now I change it each beat. Measure 15, same thing, lift it up. Now here I don't need to pedal this beat because it's not repeated. I'm going to here, I can connect it with the hand. So 14, measure 14. I don't know about pedaling measure 15. They apparently want the overtones because you don't need the pedal to connect the notes. I can do that with the hands, but apparently they want the overtones. If you're going to do that, then maybe you do want to pedal the pickup beat and change it so you get overtones on that too. And then lift it up and pedal that. See, I'm just lifting up in those measures where the left hand has a rest, so that pickup beat each time is either with pedal or without, depending on what comes next. Now at the bottom of page 21, measure 24, you're here. I'm going to lift it up again on the 4th beat, so I hear the rest in the left hand, and then play. Now you can leave it down then for the last 2 measures. Here. That's fine, but I just want to hear the rest in the left hand. I think it adds a little more to it. I'd like to play it with you very slowly. Let's just double check all the notes and rhythms. Not going to do any dynamics. I'm going to pedal it as I suggested. I'll give us 4 counts, so we're going to go really super slow because of all the 8th notes. 1 and 2 and ready and go and 1.